G'day guys, Luke here from Tech Blokes. So Android Q Beta 3 is out. I want to talk you through all of the new changes, all of the new exciting functionality that's coming out. There's actually 11 new additions to Android Beta Q, and I want to talk you through them step by step. It's really quite cool, some of the new stuff they're rolling out. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the build number. So if we go into settings, scroll down, go to About Phone, and right at the very bottom, we've got the new build number. So that's QPP3190404.015. So I know there's some guys out there that generally like to know that. This version of the Beta 3 is actually available to more devices other than just Pixels. So there's actually 21 devices that can download and install Beta 3. We've got things like the OnePlus 6T, Oppo, even Sony has a phone that can download and try out this new beta, which is really cool. So the download's about 1.2 gigabytes. It takes roughly half an hour to download it and install it to your device. Once you've downloaded and installed, it'll just reboot and then you'll be right into Android Q. Now, Google has said that their focus this time around is on innovation, privacy and security, and you can tell that they are moving towards that with a lot of like your notifications. You can say, do you want them to have access to your location all the time or just this one particular time while you've got the app open? And I really like that. I don't like the idea that there's certain apps using my location without me knowing in the background. Now, there's also a focus on the digital well-being. I'll show you that in just a second. And that's sort of built right into Android Q. It's really quite good. Now, I will say that it's been really good. It's been really stable. I haven't had any issues with apps closing. It's really quite quick and quite fluid and moving around the interface. Now, Google has also mentioned that 5G is now built into Android Q. So we're getting a lot of 5G phones coming out now. We've got the Galaxy S10 and a whole heap of other ones due to come out soon. And I'm guessing that the Google Pixel 4 will have 5G built in, so it makes sense for them to do that. Now, we also have dark mode built directly into Android Q. I've already got it enabled, and you can see when I swipe down the notification shade here, everything is quite dark. And to enable that, it's really quite simple. So we want to scroll down and go into settings, display, and then go to theme, and then click on light or dark. Okay, the dark mode, in my opinion, has been really good. It's actually helped the battery last a bit longer, and I really like that it's kind of all of the major Google apps that are using that dark mode. So if you go into things like messages, it's not enabled by default in messages. You will have to go to settings to enable that, but I really like that they're building it right into all of the native apps. And I think for a lot of people, dark mode makes sense. It's a lot easier on your eyes, especially at night. And I'm really loving what they're doing with that. Now we've got new gestures. You can see we've got this little like pill down the bottom here. And if you scroll up, it's going to give you your notification shade. And if you swipe left and right, you can move between all of the open apps that you have at any one time. So that's really cool. I really like that. And if you bring it halfway up, you can see you can get to all of the apps that are currently open on the device. And you can scroll through them like that. You can obviously swipe up to close them. And then all the way to the left will give you the option to clear all. The other gestures that you get, when you're in an app, you can actually swipe from the left side of the screen or the right to go back to the previous screen. So if I go in here, and if I want to go back to the previous screen now, I can just swipe left and it will take me back. That also works in things like Google Chrome. Okay, so if I want to scroll back, there we go. Now, the gestures are really good. I think they've still got a little bit more improvement, but they're getting to the stage where they're almost as good as iOS. Obviously, iOS has been at it a lot longer. They've been doing gestures for quite some time. But there is a new smart reply that I want to show you. So if we go into our notification shade, I'll just send a message from my other phone. And you can see that we've got these smart replies that pop up that you can hit to reply straight back to the other person. They did also mention that with these replies, there will be things like being able to open maps or share your location, which looks really good. They also mentioned that you can have the Messages app as a floating icon, much like you would with Facebook Messenger. And that just gives you the option to, be in different apps, and then if you get a text message come up, you can just click it and drag it around the screen. Now, also with your notifications, you get a couple of more options to how you want to prioritize them. So if you swipe to the, which way is it? No, so if you swipe to the right, you get two options. You've got interruptive or gentle. So depending on how you like this notification to appear, so is it important, is it not as important, you can actually give it different priorities, which is really cool. So maybe text messages are really important to you, but let's say email and Snapchat aren't. You can give them one of the two different options there as to how they're going to appear. Now, I also want to talk to you about the digital well-being. So they've put a lot of emphasis on this in Android Q. So if you go in, you can see you get a bit of a summary of your digital well-being for the day, where you're spending your time, and it's a good way for you to manage how much time you're spending in certain apps. So maybe you're spending a lot of time on Snapchat and you just want to get a bit of a breakdown of how that looks for your day. You can do that. Now, Google has also mentioned that they've got a new focus mode. So if you only want to get notifications from two apps for a set period throughout the day, you can set that up inside here, and that will help you to focus. Let's say you've got study for a couple hours and you only want to get phone calls or maybe text messages. You can set that up so that you really are just focused on those things at any one time. You've also got Do Not Disturb. We have seen that before, but it's also a great way to sort of switch off at night. Now, Family Link is another thing that Google spoke about with Android Q. Unfortunately, it's not in this beta, but it gives you the option to manage your family's devices. So maybe you've got teenage children and you want them to switch off after 10 o'clock with no access to YouTube or Facebook. You can set that up inside the Family Link. There isn't any real information about it. There's just a couple of screenshots, which I'll leave the links below so that you can go and check those out. Now, one feature that looks absolutely incredible, and we did see it get demoed, is this new live caption mode. So essentially what happens is any video that you have playing on your device, you can hit a button over here, like from your volume options, and it will actually start to list and read out all of the captions from that video. And now the exciting part is you don't even have to be connected to the internet. It's all done inside the device. I think that that's really important. It means people that have hearing impairments or maybe just have the hard of hearing, or older people, they can use that functionality to really get the most out of video on their devices. Okay, and then the last feature I want to talk about is a new emergency contact information. So we'll just go emergency information. So if we go into this, you can see I've got medical information and emergency contacts. So you might want to put your wife or husband in here as the emergency contact. And then if you go in here, you can put in all of your information. So maybe you've got an allergy, maybe you're anaphylactic or something like that, or you're on a particular medication. You can list all of that information in here, and that's going to be really helpful if there's ever some kind of emergency and you want people to know more about you. So there we go, guys. That's all of the new functionality built into Android Q Beta 3. And Beta 4 is due to come out in June, I believe. So when that drops, I'll have a lot more information for you. I'll do another video and explain everything in detail. Okay, guys, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the like button, and drop a comment below. What do you like the most about Android Beta 3 and Android Q moving forward? What are you most looking forward to with the next version of Beta 4? All right, guys, thanks so much. Cheers.